About your game, Age of Thrones. Um, I actually have played it a few rounds earlier today, like for the first time, and I actually enjoyed it. Um, I noticed that it's a free path tower defense. Um, what made you decide to make Age of Thrones free pathing?
Um, Back in the day when I was younger, the first tower defense game I really fell in love with was Field Runners, and our game is fairly similar to them in terms of gameplay style. But I really enjoyed that freestyle of tower defense game. You know, the traditional tower defense game usually has the fixed tower path where and the minions are just coming in, on a fixed scale, which is okay. That wasn't really my cup of tea. I really like the ability to kind of construct your own maze type stuff. So that's kind of why I decided to do Age of Thrones that way.
Well, cool. Yeah. I have like I never played like free padding. Like I barely played any tower defense, but free padding was like such a new concept to me. Like it really like astonished me when I first played it. How has the game community like actually responded to this feature? Like,
From the people we've got feedback from that really liked it, it gives people a new. It's kind of a different style of tower defense game. So I mean, everyone I've spoken to, been people, and I'm talking specifically with people that play tower defense game, have, it's been a nice change in pace. Um, I don't honestly think Age of Thrones brought anything innovative per se to the tower defense genre, but I mean, we originally did this for fun, so I just wanted to throw out my rendition of what a tower defense game should be on the app and Android stores.
that's cool. So was free pathing like as a concept always a platform like you were going for in the beginning when you're developing this game, or
Yeah.
was it added later in the stages?
Well, originally when we were planning this out, it wasn't free pathing. It was more of a fixed path scale. Um, but it kind of became really bland, and we didn't actually do any development on it. It was just kind of in the planning phases. But that's the direction we originally went with. And then I realized, you know what? Let's just get rid of, let's just do something different, something more free. It just feels too much like other tower defense games out there. So, no, it wasn't always a free path type tower defense game.
Well, but hey, I don't think you made a mistake. This game is really fun and it was really addictive. And so far as at least we know, the game itself is like really impressive. Like especially since there are like only two of you, right?
Yeah.
Developing the game. Yeah. So like, is
Well,
there any advice? Oh, sorry, what was that?
well, it wasn't. I mean, it was both of us, but we
Mhm.
also hired a bunch of freelancers to do everything else. Like the artwork was freelanced by someone else that some college students basically that we got to work with us.
Oh,
So
that's
it wasn't necessarily just two people. But I mean, me and my programmer, Faraz, were basically leading the development of this game from start to finish.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for those, freelancers and because of your idea, this game is, for people to play. And is there any advice you'd like to give to, game developers who are like looking into enter the indie game industry or wanting to get into, mobile game development?
Yeah, I mean, internet's a great resource for everything. So I mean, I'm not a programmer by I mean, I've started programming, but I'm not really a game programmer. And I've kind of put together a team where I basically, I would say 90% of the team was all through internet. My programmer was the friend. I mean, he was a good friend of mine, but everything else from assets to sound effects to the narration, to the levels, they were all outsourced by people I found through Reddit or you know gaming communities. Everyone wants. I had multiple people do multiple jobs. So use the internet. It's a great resource. Go to your school. The clubs we have like the video game. We have game development clubs and animation clubs, stuff like that. Go talk to people. People are willing to help out, pitch in.
So, like, the best way to actually, a key to creating a great game or great team for making great game is social circles or social connections.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I mean, just, I mean, meeting people. I mean, I mean, I was surprised. I'm not really a social person, but I started talking to people. Everyone had great ideas, and everyone brought their own flavor, style into the game, which really helped, I think, at the end.
Okay. So, how long did it take you to like make the game, and what special tools and engines were used in the creation for this game?
This took, I would say, a good almost year and a half from start to finish. We used Unity 3D as our engine. The game's actually done in 2D with sprites and everything for performance reasons.
Hmm.
But yeah, we originally started this in Unity 3D, used the iPhone build as the base, and then switched it over to Android before release. We wanted to get a double. We wanted to launch for both iOS and Android at the same time.
Cool. So, well, that leads to the question: what's been the bigger market for you? Which one, iOS or Android?
Uh, iOS has the bigger sale booms, like if we get featured or if we're on the homepage, you see bigger numbers. But Android has been more steady. So,
Uh,
one thing we did notice though, like which kind of hurt was that piracy rate was through the roof.
oh yeah.
Uh, our launch day, our piracy rate was and still is about 90%, 95% piracy rate. We have an analytics on our game that shows us new users, and then we compare it to our sales, and that's how we find out.
Hmm.
But it is cool that people are playing the game. We haven't taken any precautions to stop it,
Hmm.
but it is somewhat depressing that people aren't just pirating it.
Out of curiosity, Shazim, do you think that indie gaming is still a possibility for a full-time job with the high amount of piracy out there?
It is if you do it right. I think if I could do it again, if I could do Age of Thrones again, or maybe in the future we'd go the free to play route. I typically don't like it because I think it's annoying, but I see why people are doing it now because it's the best way to counter this piracy. The only way to counter piracy right now is through in-app purchases, which can't easily be copied anyways. So I see that now, which is a mistake I wish I saw earlier.
Hmm. All right. So, like, would you be like looking into venturing into broader console market with your games?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about Unity is a flexible engine. We've looked into PS3, 360. Uh, we were originally planning it Wii release, but
Oh.
I mean, from the recent, I don't know how well it'll do on the Wii console now with all the publicity they've had. And people are pulling their apps nowadays, and there was some article I read recently where Wii consoles are barely doing well or their sales are barely doing well. So, um, as for Age of Thrones, no, probably not on any other console. But we have our eyes set for maybe PS4 when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe.
Maybe. So, well, thank you for being with us today. But well, lastly, what's the future for Nexrage Indie?
We have right now we're still focusing on the mobile segment. We have some ideas here and there that we actually thought of through Age of Thrones. Um, so far we're still focusing on mobile. I still think it's a good market. I still think there's a lot of potential. It is competitive. So I mean, it's honestly, I think half the battle is marketing, getting your name out there, getting the proper marketing done. Because as if your app is buried under, if your app isn't in the top 10 list or isn't featured or whatever, no one's gonna find it. So
Hmm.
and we can see direct results when we start marketing it really hard, and we get like a review or some big site reviews us. You instantly see results. So far, yeah, we're just focusing on mobile games.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us
Thank you very
again.
much, Shazim. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Mhm.
Appreciate the publicity. It helps.
Yes. On the bright side, though, I think that although piracy is, bad all around, I think that definitely expresses a very large interest in your game. Um, that,
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I run the PS3 hacking site, ps3hacks.net, which has kind of the piracy. Piracy is unfortunately a result of that. So, I kind of understand the mentality behind it. So that's why I didn't stop anyone. Like, there are some precautions you could take, do this, do that, but I didn't actually bother trying to take anything because honestly, someone that's pirating the game is most likely they wouldn't buy it in the first place anyways. So this, I wanted to try to use piracy as a way to at least, do some marketing, get some publicity. At least the word is spreading around about the game through that, if anything.
That's a good way to look at
Yeah,
it.
that sucked. It just sucked. I feel the pain, but whatever. It is what it is.
right. Well, we will definitely keep looking at your page because it looks like you guys have some pretty interesting things coming out in the somewhat distant future or near future. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Mia, do you have anything else to?
Nope.
Alrighty.
I am good. I'm very satisfied.
All right. Thank you very much, Shazim, for being with us.
All
Yes,
right,
thank
you
you
guys have a
so
good
much for
evening.
your
Have an
time.
excellent night.
All right, bye.